Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're digging into Chapter 8 of Steve Russak's book, A Call for Change. It's all about medical devices and, maybe more importantly, the data they gather. Russak points to some pretty serious systemic failures. Think hidden data deals, weak regulations, stuff that leaves patients quite vulnerable. And you'll want to hear why this really matters for you.
It really does. And Russak's clear, these aren't just, one-off problems. They're systemic. Failures in how things are overseen, a lack of transparency, and some real ethical questions about how your most personal data gets used. The core message. Change isn't just nice to have, it's essential. Patients deserve better. So our mission today is to look at what changes are actually needed.
Okay, right. Let's unpack that. Fixing something this fundamental. Where do you even start? Russak kicks off with data ownership. What does that actually mean, practically speaking, for you, the patient?
The foundation is really about law. Establishing clearly that you, the patient, have full rights over data from devices inside your body. Practically. It means you can easily get your data, all of it. You decide who sees it, when, how it's shared, and you can demand it gets deleted. Russak talks about patients, fighting for years just to see their own pacemaker logs. Without these rights, you're sort of powerless in a system, often profiting from your health info.
That feels like a huge power shift. But surely device makers, maybe even hospitals, would push back on that. They hold the data now.
Oh, absolutely. You'd expect significant resistance. But Russak argues it's not just about rights, it's about changing the industry's whole game plan, its incentives. And if ownership is clear, the next logical step, as he lays out, is much stronger informed consent.
Right, okay. So once ownership is sorted, how do we make sure you actually understand what you're signing up for? Those consent forms, they can be incredibly dense. He says they need a rewrite for the modern age. What needs changing?
Yeah, they need a total overhaul, really. To be actually understandable, they should clearly state in plain language what the device does, why it's there, full disclosure on data, what's collected, where it goes, who gets it, who profits, plus explicit warnings, known risks, cyber threats, long-term safety stuff. And crucially, hospitals, manufacturers, they need to ensure you get time, maybe support to actually get it, not just a quick signature.
To avoid situations where, say, your walking data gets sold off without you realizing it.
Exactly. Like selling gait data to a fitness app company, maybe. You should know that up front.
Okay, and with all this data, digital security becomes paramount, right? These devices are in us. How vulnerable are they? What does Russak say are the absolute must-haves for cybersecurity?
He's pretty specific. Robust measures like end-to-end encryption for all data. That means only sender and receiver can read it, not some intermediary. Regular security updates even years down the line. And independent security audits.
Makes sense. Like physical safety tests.
Precisely. His point is, the FDA demands physical safety tests. Why not mandate rigorous digital safety testing before approval? We've seen reports, right? Researchers hacking pacemakers, insulin pumps. The stakes are incredibly high, but potentially life-threatening.
Okay, so we have data ownership, better consent, stronger security, direct impacts on you. But Russak also connects this to bigger issues, doesn't he? Broader industry practices needing transparency and accountability. What's this corporate transparency piece?
Yeah, what's interesting is how these points link up. They're all part of a bigger demand for transparency and accountability. So corporate transparency here means manufacturers being upfront about how they make money from patient data. Are they selling anonymized data sets, using it for R&D? You have a right to know.
And besides companies being more open, he also mentions international standards, like GDPR.
Exactly. He looks at standards like Europe's GDPR, which gives people much more control over their personal data access, portability, deletion rights. Applying that kind of strong framework globally to medical device data could create a high baseline of protection everywhere.
And wrapping it all together, this needs proper legal and legislative backup to actually work, to have real consequences.
That's the bottom line. Without clear laws, regulations, and meaningful penalties for companies that don't comply, these are just good ideas. The ultimate goal, Russak stresses, is rebuilding trust, moving from just reacting to problems to proactively protecting you.
So thinking about the future, with tech and medicine merging more and more, what does this mean for you? Russak uses the Persona IQ Smart Knee. It tracks your movement as a kind of warning sign, right? Not just cool tech, but potentially a way to turn your health data into a product, maybe without you fully grasping it.
And connecting that to the bigger picture, it just highlights that real innovation has to put patients first. Transparency, safety, ethics, those need to be the driving forces.
Because until then, as Russak puts it quite starkly, every connected implant carries this unspoken risk. that you're not just a patient anymore, but maybe a product in this growing market for human data. Which leaves us with a really important question. How do we make sure innovation truly serves you, the patient, and not just the market itself?